From early on in life, we are taught to be cautious of our surroundings, to take heed of the dangers of the world. To be aware is to be ahead of trouble. Some say being too aware is borderline paranoia, but in the world we live in today, it's almost required. Any and everyone should be properly investigated before allowing them into your space. Trust is a major factor in determining who belongs in your life. But what about the con artist, the conniving wolf in sheep's clothing, who preys on your ability to see the good in everyone? Sadly, when the mask comes off, it's often too late, and the trust you once had is replaced with regret. You begin to distance yourself from the problem. But just like a wild beast, a wolf stalks its prey. And just when you think it's safe, the wolf strikes. February 24th, 1994. The world would make way for Keera Brabham. She would be born to her parents Curtis and Juliet Brabham. In all, the Brabhams would have 3 children, with Keera being the youngest. The state they called home at that time was the great state of New York. Keera would spend her early years in the Mount Vernon area. However, in 1997, the family would make a transition to Vero Beach, Florida, where they would go there to take care of their great-grandparents. She would begin her education at Highlands Elementary, in which she would go on to attend Oslo Middle School before ultimately graduating from Vero Beach Charter High School. Keera is described as someone with a bubbly personality, someone with a kind soul, someone who knew the importance of treating others how she wanted to be treated. After graduating, Keera would make a transition to Tallahassee, Florida, where she was set to attend Florida A&M University. While there, she would obtain an associate's degree, with becoming a nurse in mind. By the time Keera graduated, being a nurse just wasn't in her heart anymore. She had decided that she wanted to open her own business, so she would move back to Vero Beach with her parents in order to pursue this dream. While there, she would give birth to her business, Shaded Aesthetics, where she would cover an amount of things, such as facials, eyelash extensions, waxing, and makeup. Keera took pride in the fact that she was a one-stop shop. If a female came to her, she didn't have to necessarily run all over the place. You could get a lot of things done just by doing business with Keera. In the year of 2017, 23-year-old Keera would meet a man who goes by the name of Nick, and they would fall head over heels for each other. 2 years later, they would welcome a son into this world, and they would name him Nico. Upon giving birth to her son, her entire mentality would change. She would begin to hustle just a little bit harder. She would decide to move her business out of her parents' home. She would work in 2 separate shops in Vero Beach, before ultimately in the year of 2020, making a transition to Broward County. But even while trying to grow her business, her education wasn't done. In the year of 2021, Keera would receive her bachelor's degree from the Indian River State College. Upon obtaining this degree, her mind was set on becoming completely independent, not working in other people's shops, but owning her own location. By the year of 2023, Keera would be 29 years old. Her business is flourishing. By now, she is separated with the father of her child, although they did maintain a healthy relationship for their son's sake. In August of 2023, Keera would step out on a leap of faith. Her business had grown, so she would decide to get her own building located in the Sunrise, Florida area. Upon opening this location, her business would grow even more. But outside of work, she did enjoy spending time with her son, her family, and friends. She also was very photogenic and enjoyed taking pictures. In her free time, she liked to party, but she also liked going fishing and doing a little traveling. At this point in her life, it seems everything is going okay with Keera. However, something was on the horizon that no one saw coming. Something that would rock that family to its very foundation. December 25th, 2023. 'Tis the season to be jolly. We all know that that's the date of Christmas, in which Keera would travel back to Vero Beach to spend that time with her family. They would exchange gifts, enjoy dinner, and reminisce on old times. Family was a big part in Keera's life, so in this moment, she cherished every bit of it. After spending Christmas with her family, she would travel back home. But little did her family know that the sacred time they spent in that moment would be their last. December 26th, 2023. Fire and EMS would be dispatched to 7900 South Colony Circle, apartment 203. This apartment is where Keera lived. When the fire team arrived on the scene, they would immediately spring into action. They would go inside of the apartment and find an unconscious Keera laying on the ground. Once finding her, they would transport her to the hospital in hopes of saving her life. However, upon arrival, she would be pronounced deceased. The media would catch wind of the story, and they would air it. And in this story, they would proclaim that the 29-year-old lost her life due to the fire.
Firefighters responding to an apartment fire making a deadly discovery inside. This morning, we're hearing from the victim's family. 7's Zennia Garcia is live in Tamarack with what they're saying and how they're remembering this victim.
29-year-old Keera Brabham killed in a fire inside her Tamarack apartment. The fire broke out around 3:30 in the morning.
Multi-family structure fire at 7900 South Colony Circle.
All of the residents made it out safely except Keera. Family says they saw her on Christmas just hours before the fire. They say her car is now missing and believe the fire is suspicious.
Although this was a fire incident, investigations still need to be conducted. The fire investigation team needs to find out how the fire started, while the police need to figure out if anything sinister was involved. So, the detectives open an investigation. And upon speaking with family members, they quickly realize that something might be lurking beneath the surface. And this wasn't just a random fire. Upon speaking with the family, they would learn that Keera had a boyfriend, whom she had broken up with 3 to 4 weeks prior to this incident occurring. And in their mind, there is no doubt that he had something to do with this situation. The family and friends around Keera would testify that after breaking up with this new guy, he just wouldn't take no for an answer. He would frequently call her phone, pop up at her place of employment, etc. This guy was showing very strong tendencies of being a stalker. What happened to 29-year-old Keera Brabham is still an open investigation, and the authorities are working to figure out exactly what happened. Due to it being an ongoing investigation, the authorities aren't releasing much, if any at all. They aren't releasing the name of the suspect. They also aren't releasing her cause of death. However, due to the circumstances surrounding the case, my educated guess would be she succumbed to smoke inhalation. But although that's a possibility, that's how she left this earth, there's more to the story. Because before the fire, one of her neighbors would testify that he heard loud banging noises. He also heard a woman screaming, "Call 911." The neighbor can be seen here doing a media interview.
Brian Marty lives nearby. He said around 3:40 in the morning, he heard commotion coming from Keera's unit just moments before the fire.
I was terrified. The banging, the screaming, the call 911. I tell you, it was just screaming and yelling. As soon as I walk out, I see smoke coming out of the windows, the cracks of the door.
We hope that they find him. We're distraught. I mean, yesterday was Christmas. You know, you do this to somebody's family around the holidays, you gotta pay.
The heart of creation, where nothing is real, where nothing but potential steers the wheel.
Let me tell you something about the golden hour. Oh, I'm gonna catch it. You best believe.
She broke up with this guy about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and listen, if you had a problem with her and you had to hit her, you didn't even have to hit her, but if you did, why kill her? She has a 4-year-old child now that we have to raise, and we have to tell him that his mother's gone. It's not fair.
Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
The Broward Sheriff's Office for now only telling us that homicide detectives are working on this. No word quite yet whether they have a suspect or have made an arrest.
I'm a prisoner of the past, though I know that things don't last. I'm going home, but I don't know the way. If I'm lucky, I'll live halfway. If I'm unlucky, I only have today. Kind of weird plan is this?
What happened to 29-year-old Keera Brabham is completely tragic. The only thing good that came out of this situation is her 4-year-old son Nico wasn't at the apartment at the time of the incident. Thankfully, he was with family. Keera Brabham had dreams, and she was shooting for the stars. And that was ultimately cut short. For what? By an ex-boyfriend who couldn't handle rejection. It is now going on the end of January of 2024, and the authorities haven't announced an arrest. And that kind of makes me worry a little, because the house was set on fire, which means a lot of physical evidence was destroyed in the process, which means at this point, they most likely need an eyewitness who can testify that they saw her ex-boyfriend at the apartment before the fire. If you have any information in regards to the case of Keera Brabham, please contact the Florida authorities. Help them close this case and bring closure to her family. Rest in peace, Keera Brabham. Thank you for being a light for others. I truly hope you receive the justice that you deserve.
Where nothing is real, where nothing but potential steers the wheel. What can you do what you want to do? 'Cause I believe that it's rare. Only badass people do that. The first rays of the sun hit the fresh green leaves, and a rabbit not many weeks old eat some greens and show some trust to a perfect stranger. And I want to and sad. I'm a prisoner of the past, though I know that things don't last. I'm going home, but I don't know the way. If I'm lucky, I'll live halfway. If I'm unlucky, I only have